What's up, men? Welcome to the Male Cartel podcast. Let's get started.
Do you think men are important? Like for what?
Men are not meant to be dominant. Men are meant to be submissive.
Life's too short to exercise. I'm just gonna be honest.
It's okay to be fat.
Dispelling toxic masculinity and really redefining what it means to be a man. Men can cry. So it's okay to be weak. It's okay to be weak.
I'm telling you right now, not everybody wants to see you win.
You seem to be more woman than you are man. You don't have any manly qualities.
You give them this message that it's okay to be a man.
It's not okay, it's necessary. How are we going to do without men? You look around the city here, you see all these buildings go up, these men, they're doing impossible things.
It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Be a dangerous man. Being dangerous is not being a threat. They're two different things. You can't be a good man if you're not a dangerous man. You say one disrespectful thing to my wife, I am not only willing, but I'm able to inflict great bodily damage.
I'm going to do everything in my power to become a victor and not a victim. I can't explain it, but you better feel me. Winners win and losers lose. I can't explain it any better than that. I don't know how it happens, but winners win. And if you create a culture of losing, if you keep being a victim, if you keep letting losing happen to you, if you keep letting people do you and treat you any kind of way, it's going to become a culture. What's the matter with you? There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
Here's your host, Nick and Shane.
What is up? We are back, Male Cartel. I'm with my buddy Nicholas Carnes.
What's up, guys? Good to be back with you.
Yeah, it's been a minute and a half.
It's been a while.
What,
3 weeks or so?
Yeah. So we got some good content today. And we have Flex Your Pecks, and then Nicholas has
a mansectomy.
Yep. A sectomy going down.
And this guy needs a mansectomy.
He actually really does, bro.
He needs castration.
He needs castrated up, bro, in a cast iron. Cut that little wiggle out. Cut the wiggle out.
And then you're going to fry it in a cast iron?
Yep, make him eat it. So,
make him eat it?
Make him eat it, too. That's the only food he gets. Let it sit there on his plate for a week.
Listen, if you let us make the laws of the land, we will lower the crime rate.
Yep. Any sexual predator, like, the government should just let us deal with it.
Yeah.
We're super creative, dude.
We are.
And I actually think we're kind of humane compared to what it would be back in the day.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they'd just be like, let's just hang you in this tree. I don't want to waste any money on you, you know?
Well, I mean, back in the day, they would cut your hand off.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you were caught stealing. I mean, some of them took that pluck your eye out, eye for an eye pretty seriously. So, I don't know.
They should bring it back.
I think so.
That's what I think.
I was telling Nikki that the other day. I was like, the problem we have is we're too lax.
Man, we so lax, bro.
If you started really, like, punishing some of these crimes like they used to, we wouldn't have them anymore.
Bro, I'm right there with you, man. 100%. I think our listeners, too.
We have a big announcement, too.
Yeah. What's the big announcement? I'm trying to think. Did I forget the big announcement?
Well, what we're aiming to do with the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's big.
Well, I was thinking about something else.
Oh, what's something
I
else?
was thinking about the May with the conference.
Yeah. Well, we got that too. We don't have all the details, but we do have the dates.
People can jot it down. We got a conference we're looking at being a part of with Nick's church, Forge Conference. Male Cartel will be there, and it's in May. And so you hear more details, but just know.
I believe it's May 9th and 10th.
Yeah, second weekend in May.
Yeah.
Second Friday and Saturday. Yep. So just go ahead and circle that mug and on your calendar and just hold that date and say Friday night. Tell the wifey, girlfriend, the person on the line that's your friend, that you have no other friends. Tell them, hey, I can't talk to you. I can't play video games tonight, okay? No. And I can't go on a date because I'm going on a date with a bunch of men on Friday night and Saturday morning. So
they can make Saturday night date night.
100%.
But what the guys need to do is just tell their wives, look, I am always with the kids. I'm always having to take care of the house. I'm always having to take care of the kids and make sure they're dressed and fed. And so I just need you for this one
that's
Friday
right.
night and Saturday to carry a little bit of weight in this house.
That's right. Yep. I probably wouldn't recommend those exact words, but I really would listen.
Well, but she may, if you use those words, go,
That's
you
true.
really need to be there.
True. And you got Valentine's is next week. So, like,
it's true.
Dude, start now. If you haven't started, suck it up as a man. Treat your wife with respect and give her what she needs. And then I promise you do that continually every day. She's going to say, you know what, babe? Go ahead and go to that Forge conference. And she'll probably write you a sweet note, put some beef jerky with your note, take it with you. She'd be great because you're going to come back a better man than you were when you went.
She might feel, though, that you don't need it if you're too good of a man.
So don't be perfect.
Don't be
Screw
perfect.
up a little bit.
And then remember, write those imperfections down and remind her. She'll remember. You don't have to remind her.
Yeah, that's true.
Just
go
as
with
she
it.
reminds you, go, well, you know what, honey? I've realized I need to go to the Forged Men's Conference.
That's exactly what
to
you need
get
to do.
1% better.
So you want to tell the audience about the big news?
Yeah, so we have been discussing, we want to kind of continue to expand our reach. I think we're in over 20 countries now. Last I looked at the stats, built a good kind of community. But we want our message to get out to as many guys as possible. That really wasn't our aim. We just thought when we started, we would have a handful of friends that would listen, which we do, and we're grateful for that. My wife listens, and in fact, I got a shout out to even another young lady. She left us a review. I met her at Disney Springs. Her name's Courtney. She's at the left-handed store. There's a store, like a little kiosk kind of outdoor store at Disney Springs, and everything is for left-handers. So they have pens, they have notepads. Producer Carell is a lefty, just like me, a southpaw. And it's funny how many southpaws we have at my church. I guess we attract one another.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was kind of talking with her, joking around with her, and we just laughing and having a good time. Well, when I left, she called Nikki over and apparently said she wanted to give me a gift. And so she gave me this gift that says, I might be left-handed, but I'm always right. And so I went up to her and said I was going to give her a shout out on our podcast. We had a couple of bonus episodes, and so the last episode was pretty full, and it slipped my mind, so I decided to wear the shirt to give Courtney a shout out. But we've grown. She's in Florida and subscribed, left us a review. We've got people all over the country now, some even all over the world, and so we want to expand our reach. We see the platform God's given us, and so we are going to aim to shorten the episodes, but release an episode once a week.
That's right.
So there may be some weeks we record 2 at a time, so that we can pull that off because we're busy. And then when we do interviews, those are going to be longer episodes because we want to do justice to those that we're interviewing.
Are we still not in Australia?
I need to check on that.
Because if we're not in Australia, man, that was my goal.
That was her dream.
That was like that was literally when we saw our reach expand and we started being in all these countries and we're like, hold up, are we in Australia?
That's the first country we really wanted to be in.
Because we can go to eat blooming onion and all that stuff. And your dad, the OG,
he took us to Outback.
Yeah, Outback.
We are not.
We're not, but that is my goal. That's my goal.
No.
No. We are in
Australia.
What in the world?
It was actually higher up than on the percentage of listeners. It was higher up.
What?
We're even in Ukraine. We're encouraging Ukrainians.
We need a. I want to ride a train in Ukraine.
We're in France.
We're
helping those French men.
We in the
be more men.
Little wee. Frenchies. All right, man. That's crazy.
Canada, our future 51st state.
Yeah,
we're in Canada.
Man, they may not like us with all the stuff that we're doing to them, but trying to teach them how to be a man. So let's go kill a bear. Speaking of Canada,
24 countries.
Speaking of Canada, there's a bunch of bears in Canada, but there also was a bear that was in Florida. So,
and this is our
Flex Your Pecks. All right. So there's a guy. This is in January, first of the year. And so there's a guy here. I'm trying to look to remember where this paper is. West Volusia, I guess Florida. So it's near D-Land, Orange City, Osteen, not Joel Osteen, Lake Helen, Deltona. I know where that's at. Okay. All right. So there's a guy, and his name is Blake. That sounds like we can get along with a bunch of Blakes. So Mr. Blake.
He sounds Australian.
Australian.
Or is that bloke? That's bloke.
Bloke. And so he had 2 dogs, a little Dachshund mix and then a little pom-pom. And needs to say he's out there, took the dogs out to go potty like I do, except for he was surrounded by 3 juvenile black bears. Not grizzlies or anything like that, or polar bears, but black bears.
So basically training session.
100%. So he goes, and short story long, he ends up, he ends up, really it's a long story short, he ends up, his dog is about to get devoured, actually got bit and had to be hospitalized. Dog's doing well. It's a little pom-pom, so it's a little fluffy dog, about 12 pounds.
So basically a snack or an appetizer?
Yeah, a little furry snack. And the 2 bears ran off. One of them that grabbed the dog, the other 2 ran off when Blake went out there. So he confronted the bear, said, "What's up, player?" And when he did, it was on like Donkey Kong. And so he got in a tussle match with the bear. The bear charged him, bit him in his ribs. He was fine. The bear ran off after he knew it couldn't take Blake. He knew hey, listen, this dude already got me.
Yeah.
And ended up, Blake had to get some rabies shots, and his stomach's all. And there's actually a picture on this page 7A of Blake bruised up, but he survived, and his dog survived. And I just thought that was pretty cool, man.
Absolutely.
Because here's the thing that I didn't think about when I was reading this was 3 juvenile bears. And he didn't know that 2 of them were going to run from him.
Yeah.
He ran straight out. It says that he thought about going inside to get a weapon, but he thought his dog would be killed. Notice one thing. I'm going to turn over to you, Nick. Notice, though, he saved a dog.
Absolutely.
If it was a cat, what do you think he would do?
Chinese.
That's it, bro.
He'd be like,
He'd
hey,
let that bear have a little
$9.99
sneaky snack, bro.
for that.
No, he can go get another one. They're everywhere, bro.
That sesame chicken or sesame cat.
Listen,
that's $9.99. Would you like an egg roll with that?
Bro, listen, if you went this is the truth. I ain't trying to be rude. But you can go to any Wendy's, get a hamburger about 11 o'clock at night, go by their dumpsters. There's always going to be cats.
Yeah.
But you can go by a dumpster, and I bet you there's not a pom-pom dog, fluffy doggy, 12 pounds pom-pom, or a Dachshund. They don't make them like that.
No.
But cats, you can find any kind of color cat. Black cat, red cat, blue cat, orange cat.
Tiger cat.
All of it, man. So, whatever. But he gets to Flex Your Pecks. Pretty cool story.
Yeah, he took on a whole gang.
He took a gang. He was like, bring it on, man. It was like Fast and Furious Vin Diesel.
I have the Mansectomy.
I know.
Award.
I'm not going to say a lick.
We actually have probably 2.
2. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let you just run this thing.
I'm not going to do the 2 because I think we're going to talk further at some point on the other.
That's right.
But this one's a local guy.
That's
right. And especially he deserves a Mansectomy because he's been dabbling in ministry, trying to, be a pastor and all that type stuff.
He was 2016 though.
He was. He for 4 months. I mean, you look at the story and you go, you were at the church for 4 months and you go and do something stupid like that, which means he probably has done it.
Yep.
Before, just didn't get caught.
Didn't get caught.
But Mr. Zachary Matthews, back in his pastoral days, he went by Zach, spelled XAQ, because, you got to be cool if you're going to be a pastor.
You probably wore skinny jeans, too.
Or Zachary was spelled like XAIQU something like daiquiri, but with the XAQ.
Costs a lot of money on Wheel of Fortune. That's a lot of vowels.
If you had to spell that, I mean, I was thinking it was somebody either didn't know how to spell on the birth certificate, or he was doing it being cool. But talking about wiggles and having the wiggles, he was arrested this weekend for pulling up while a woman was running on the track at the local park and decided to get out of his fairly new Toyota Tacoma, which is a shame that you're driving a Tacoma or a Toyota
truck
and doing this kind of behavior. You claim to be a pastor. You claim to be a Toyota driver. It's just a mockery.
Oh, man.
He needs to be strung up.
Yep.
Anyway, so he pulls out, and as she's running, I guess, in his direction, he drops his pants and decides to expose himself and give a little shake, give a little dance, kind of like the guy in Mexico that was trying to abduct the child.
Yep.
Do the little helicopter, I guess. And she says she could clearly tell what it was. I think she said she needed a microscope, but she could tell once she got a closer look with the scope.
Him.
And when it scared her, of course, and she ran off the track, ran to go get help, and he got in his truck and drove off. And so they tracked him down through security footage and traffic cameras, went and confronted him, asked him if he had been at the park, and he said he didn't want to talk about it. And they matched all the tag and everything like that. Well, come to find out, back in 2016, not spelled Zachary as in he spells it now, but spelled XAQ, when he was the pastor of First Baptist Church of Bishopville, South Carolina, for 4 months. He did the same exact thing, but to college girls. He was going to some track where there were college students doing the same thing, dropping his pants, exposing himself. He got arrested. Then he admitted it. Well, apparently here locally, he's been doing it multiple times. They just couldn't track the truck because it had a paper tag.
Yeah.
So we have awarded him the Mansectomy award for this episode because he deservingly, I mean, he deserves it above
100% sicko, bro.
all else. Other than the other person we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
Not this episode, but I'll just say his name. It's Mr. Kanye West, who is a scumbag.
Yep. It seems to be a lot of scumbags these days out there. So,
well, someone wrote on our post, and I don't think he was saying it's necessarily like an addiction, although it could be tied to like a sexual addiction. One, when Nikki and I were kind of talking about it, she's like, what would he get out of that? Like, what would you get out of that other than ruining your family and stuff? I don't get it, but I don't think it's an addiction. I think it's a straight up perversion. I mean, when we look at scripture, like that's a perversion.
Yeah,
it's not
evil,
like
bro.
an addiction.
Yeah.
So
totally evil, bro. Well, I've got some things we have. We're actually gonna just run through some questions that we have looked at. We actually it's not questions really. It's a statement of really 15 things that will better your life, basically. And
I think these are good for the young men, especially because they may not have been taught these.
Yeah, and it's like motivation. I mean, the hashtags are motivational, motivational quotes, successful quotes, and stuff like that. So we just thought it would be really good just to walk through. It's first of the year, February now, that type of thing. But we're in the beginning of the first 3 months of the year. And so be good to talk about. So what I like to do is just read it. And then I turn over to you, Nick, and you can just talk about it, and then we'll talk about it together. But the first question is, the first statement, I guess, is to be successful is never shake a hand while sitting. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I think it's respect.
Yeah.
They talk about, and I've seen people do this, standing when even a woman enters the room.
Yep.
I just think it's respect because, I mean, when we're talking, making eye contact, it's just displaying respect to that person. You're looking them in the eye. And so to me, I think it just displays kind of honor to that person, respect to them. But also I think it kind of reduces awkwardness when we are sitting down and someone comes in to shake our hands. I just don't, I just think it feels weird.
So, dude, I 100% agree with you. How does it feel with being a left-handed person? You stand up and shake somebody's hand with your left hand, and then they give you the right. See, do you feel disrespected?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, we live in a right-handed world, and so I've learned the first thing I do is stick out my right hand. But it's interesting when someone does stick out their left hand. I'm like, oh, okay. But it does feel strange because you just don't shake people's left hand.
I know.
So
people do it all the time to me, left-handed. They just like give me I like the fist bump a lot. But when somebody just comes to me because they have their hands full and they do the left hand, I'm like, I don't even know how to hold their hand. I'm like,
hey.
It's all crooked, bro. I'm like, hi, my name is Shine. The second one is never talk bad about the food when you are the guest.
Yeah.
Right? What do you think about that?
Well, that's completely disrespect.
Yeah.
There's being honest and then there's being wise. Now I'll have fun with this, but I'm not the guest. When we've had like dinners at churches, I love finding out what somebody has made, and then I will randomly go and sit near them, and I will go, "Hey, who made the green bean casserole?" And I won't let them answer because everybody kind of knows who it is, but I'm not looking dead at them. I'm kind of just speaking in general to this group of people, and I'll be like, I think it's sour. It almost made me throw up. I would not eat it. And these people knowing who made it will be like turning blood red, embarrassed, trying to get me to stop, and I'll just keep going and all. And then I'll just kind of go to get up like I'm leaving. It's be like, all right, I just want to let y'all know I need to go tell some other people. And you can see the embarrassment on that person's face. And then before I walk off, I'll go, I was just playing.
Oh, gosh.
I knew you made it.
Dude, you're so witty with all that. Dude, I don't have the guts to do that. I once ate dinner. I don't do fish. And somebody had cooked some salmon. And I don't do fish. And that's all I could smell was fish.
So is that fishy? It was that fishy.
Yeah. So I had salmon, like a garlic mashed potatoes. And you know what I did? I had a Caesar salad. I cut up the salmon and buried it underneath the mashed potatoes so they didn't know.
I would have done
Bro,
similar.
I was like, I couldn't even look at it, dude. So I ate all the salad and got seconds with the salad. And it looked like I ate almost all my salmon and didn't do too much with the mashed potatoes. And then there was some type of bread. And I ate some of the bread. And that was it.
What you do is you, as the guest, offer to get up to take the dishes to the sink. Let me help with, and that way you can screw.
Bro, I've done that with asparagus because I don't eat asparagus, and so, but I've done that same thing. But I tell my kids all the time, like, what's in front of you, eat it.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like it, eat some of it.
Yep.
I was eating a hamburger from a buddy of mine's house. Gosh, a couple of years ago, I'll never forget. And he cooked hamburgers, and it was like made your own patties. He put so much thought and effort into it, and he's made the burgers. Everything's great. Made it on his Red Tech. Did the whole thing. Basically smoked the burgers. But when we came out and had the burgers, my kids, they come up to whisper in my ear like multiple times. They were like, my hamburger's red. And I looked at it, and it was, man. It still looked like it was raw. And I looked at mine. I only took like one bite because I was eating like chips and stuff and dip. And I had to get the kids their food ready first.
Yeah.
I sat down. So you know what I did with my hamburger? I ate all around it that was cooked and left it. And literally, it looked like you just folded up hamburger meat inside.
So it just didn't get cooked all the way through?
Didn't cook, man. He must have cooked that thing for probably 30 minutes on that. Probably at like 150. And it just didn't cook.
Well, isn't smoked meat oftentimes pinker? It doesn't
I have no idea, but bro, I couldn't eat that thing.
I saw a guy online that he was carving. It's Justin Nunley was showing the video, but the video he was showing was a guy carving a brisket, and it looked like the wall behind you. It was that dry, that overcooked, and he said something about looked like he removed the moisture from that twice. And so you're put in those situations where people can't cook or it's just not good. But before we move on, when we went to the mission trip in Costa Rica, we went to their house, the missionary's house, for dinner that last night when I got robbed. and she made the Colombian. I forget what it's called, but it had the pockets.
Oh yeah.
Well, she filled it with the chicken and then onions and peppers. Well, I don't eat onions and peppers.
Oh yeah.
But my dad always taught me, when you're like in missions, foreign missions, stuff like that, and you're sitting at somebody's table, it's insulting.
Oh yeah.
Not to eat. And if you're there as a missionary, now of course these are Christians, but I ate it even though
it's not.
And then I got robbed, so it was a horrible night,
dude. I actually went to a friend of mine's house, and they had kids in our student ministry, just getting a chance to know them. And I asked them, does he cook often? He says no, but he has a charcoal grill. He cooked on the charcoal grill. He had chicken thighs with bone in. Kid you not, dude. Some of the chicken thighs and chicken legs he's cooked, and he put the last thighs and stuff on. And I remember thinking, they're probably only on 15 minutes. I bet he's confused, but surely he knows what he's doing. He's a man.
Yeah.
And I will never forget. We put the kids and had their food, and we gave them. They had the drumsticks. They were on for a while. So when I went to I was notified in my mind when he brought the thighs. When I saw there was still blood on the whatever the plate, because it was a white plate. I stabbed it, and actual blood came out of it. So I peeled back, and it was raw.
Yeah, chicken.
And I was like, uh-oh. And I went straight to the drumsticks, and they were good. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. 30 minutes with the drumsticks, and these others been on 15 minutes. So we fed the kids the drumsticks. My kids were fine. But then I looked at my wife, and I was like, don't eat the chicken. And we didn't eat any chicken, man. They were still all on the plate. And go, oh, you didn't want any? I said, yeah, man.
I'm
right down my
fasting meat.
stomach. I was like, my stomach is kind of messed up, man. I'm just like, I just feel full from the salad, bro. And so I killed that salad. Monty's gonna like that, but I killed that salad, bro. I mean, that's all I had. I was starving too, bro. Felt like I was starving. But here's the third question. Don't eat the last piece of something you didn't buy. So I'll go first and turn over to you. For me, this is like for real, because I don't. If I'm at your house, invite me to eat, and I want another little piece of something, I'm not gonna ask for it. I'm just gonna piece. It could be a roll, which I don't eat rolls, but it could be anything. I'm just gonna sit. I'm gonna wait till you say, Shane, dude, this one's yours, bro.
Yeah.
As soon as you say it to me, I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna say the token word that guys say. You ain't gotta ask me twice. Tell me twice. I'm gonna eat it. What do you think?
So same thing. Like if we've gone out to eat with someone and they've taken us, or they're providing, and even if they get like appetizers, it's like the last chicken wing. Same thing. It's like whoever's paying for those appetizers, that's his or hers.
Oh yeah.
But if they say, "Hey, I don't want it," go ahead and take it. Even if like everybody else had 3 and I had 1, and I could go, "Oh, well, everybody else had 3. I've only had 1, so I can go ahead and get this one." If somebody else is paying for that appetizer, that's theirs to determine if they want it, whatever. And so I think these first few are just basically signs of respect.
Yep.
And I think that's important when it talks about, this was from an account called Journey to Success. I think, our reputation matters when it comes to even the perception of success, but the success with other people. John Maxwell talks about the law of attraction. And I think these make you more attractive to people in your self-respect, but also how you present yourself. So I totally agree with that. And I practice it myself, just in sense of if I'm at somebody's house, if I'm at a restaurant. But on the opposite end, if it's me, I've seen other people do the same thing. Like if, we've taken our kids and then some of their friends out, I've seen them even at a young age show this respect. But I could do that at my house and be like, well, I bought these groceries. But there's been many times where, there may be, one piece of chicken left or something like that, and the kids are at the house, and I'll let one of the other boys have it because they're growing young men, and I can do without. So I don't go like I'm the dad
That's
and
right.
that's my piece,
That's
because
right.
I want it. I yield to the kids and make sure they have had their fill. I've had a portion, but I can either do without or get something else, whatever. So
Dude, that reminds me of about a month or so ago. I took my team out, a large team at the church that I serve with, and I took them out to lunch, and I ordered 3 sets of appetizers. And I didn't get not one.
Really?
And I was like, oh, I'm about to get this appetizer, and it was gone. They were clean, bro. One kid, I mean, they had like, it was enough for everybody to get like a one and somebody else to get a couple, but man, he was just pounding them out. We do the same thing at we'll get food for our youth, and we got a couple 19-year-olds, college kids, man, and we had an event, and we did like chicken minis and stuff like that. Was it chicken minis? Yeah, chicken minis for all the volunteers. And one kid, man, he pounded out like 6 chicken minis, eating them like he hadn't eaten anything else. And then he went and got a biscuit, chicken biscuit, like pounding out and then getting biscuit and shoving around. And same kid that I mean, he's not starving, but they just don't know. They want another, ate basically, pizza has 8 slices.
Yeah.
So ate 6 slices of pizza, loaded them up because we had extra pizza. And so when he comes through, instead of giving him 3, I just loaded him up with 3 more. Pile of pizza on his plate. Ate all that and found out that we had chicken sandwiches for the adults, the grown people. And he wanted one. And he ate that too. And he was asking if we had anything left. They're just like,
is it a big kid?
No, he's just skinny, tall. But no, that's just the way a lot of those kids are. I see it, and then I can look at, some kids they do a good job, and some do not. And so, I think it's just a good reminder. I know I teach my kids that. So.
Well, we were on a missions trip, and someone provided a pizza dinner for us, and we had someone on the trip with us basically wipe out. That you would have thought they were at a pizza buffet, and it's like he and his wife were the first one through the line,
Man.
And so we ended up having to order more pizza because they pretty much wiped out a majority of it. And normally, of course, I've been in church my whole life.
Oh,
Usually, it's like start with 2 slices,
yeah,
and then once there's extra, eat that. Once everybody's gone through, then you can get more. And so we'll do that with big events. We'll go ahead and make an announcement.
Yeah.
Hey, we will make sure there's enough for everybody if you'll start with 2 slices. And then half the time there's a ton left over because people ate that and they had their fill, they were full, and they didn't want any more. But if you just let them go ahead through the line.
This one kid, I promise you. I mean, I can think of 10 kids off the bat right now that they would go in line, get 2 slices, eat it standing up, and go back in the line. They will eat the 2 slices and go right back in line. And they'll just come to you and go, more, please, more. And they do stuff like that. Put their lip out, more, please. And you're like, I'm hungry. Man, dude, I've heard it all, bro. It's so annoying. It gets my grits, bro.
Number 4.
4, protect who is behind you and respect who is beside you. Ooh.
That's good.
I think of my children. I think of my wife who's beside me, my kids beside me. And so what do you think about this?
Well, I think it is a display of humility. You don't see yourself as being, some superior that's to be served or that you're out front of anyone. If you're, protecting who is behind you, they may have a different meaning, but behind, usually I would see that as maybe is like workers who you're responsible for, your children. Your wife would be the one, I would say probably beside. She's equal. While we have to be the head of our home and the leader, she's not our doormat to trample on.
That's right.
So she would be beside us. We respect her as being she's
the treasure, bro.
Right. And she's the parent to the children, just like you are. She's, we would protect her as well, but we're respecting her. We're not treating her as if she's second class or any less than us, But then those who are behind us, those who we would provide for, those that, follow our leadership, so that could be children, it could be coworkers, whatever. We want to also respect them, but there's a sense of we have a responsibility to protect them. And that's why when we talk about like the Mansectomy Award, a guy who is a husband and a father going out and even doing the things he's doing in the community, that's not protecting them. It's not protecting your name. It's not protecting their reputation. Think about the shame that they have to carry throughout the community. So I think it goes hand in hand with like, just showing respect, honor, but also looking out for other people, not just yourself.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good piece of advice.
I think it's. I think that's just perfect. I can go on a tangent on that, but 5, never make the first offer in a negotiation. And I'll say, I always say if I'm trying to buy a car or something like that, I always ask them what's a good fair deal. You tell me, because I already have an idea in my head, my budget. And I think you should have your budget, your money, you should have your finances, all that, what you're thinking, or what you would pay for something on Facebook Marketplace. You already have a fair amount. Then you ask them what it is.
Yeah.
Because if somebody's wanting to sell an object, car, anything really, they have an idea what they think it's worth. And I think that a good steward is to know what you have in a budget, and then stay as close as you can to that, what you know as stewardship. And because sometimes, like, if you come out and say, "Would you give me $15,000 for this car?" Maybe they think that they'll come down to 13. Like, you could save you some money.
Yeah.
What you think?
I think if you make the first offer, then there is no negotiation.
Yeah.
Unless let's just say if you're purchasing a car and they're well over, $3,000 in profit because others are selling at a certain range, you may go in and go, my starting point would be here because this is what other cars are. That doesn't mean you're necessarily making the first offer. You're just saying other reputable, vehicles in this that are made up like this are selling for this price. Chris Voss, who is a former FBI negotiator, he has a book called Never Split the Difference, but he has a lot of resources, and he does some various different trainings on this very thing, on how to negotiate and how to, even like with purchasing a vehicle, and it's not even mentioning a price. Like he has a whole strategy of how to have that conversation, and even getting salespeople to work with you without even asking for $1. But he said multiple times he's been able to get people to their very bottom dollar, never asking for a certain price, but through through certain methodology and having conversation. Yep. So there's some great, strategy and tools out there. However, I don't think you have a negotiation, because let's just say you're selling something for $18,000 and I come in and go, would you take 17.5? You may have been willing to take 17. I just left 500 on the door, because I came in and dropped 17.5, and you could have gone further. You would have been willing to go further.
Well, you and I went ran around with trucks, and before I was looking at my Tundra, I was looking for a Yukon, and I remember talking to a gentleman, and I liked it. I thought it was great. I thought it was like everything that I've kind of ever wanted. Miles was like where I wanted it to be, but I did my research, and I kind of knew what I could pay or what was fair market. And old boy, he just plain out came out and said, because my thing is like, what's your bottom line? And went to give him he said the bottom line. I was like, oh gosh, it was like, there's no way. I mean, I didn't see it. You would lose money.
Yeah.
And he was stubborn with that. And then that vehicle sat on that for a while. And then he lowered it, and I went back to him, and he said that was his bottom line. And it was really, really weird. So I just disengaged from the whole conversation. He wound up selling it finally to a price that was like my bottom line.
Yeah.
And we could have done that like literally with like 6 months.
Yeah.
But he was just very prideful, and at that point I was already frustrated with him. I was like, I can't do business with this guy.
Yeah.
So
I just had a guy. So we're selling our bus, and I had a guy, and I try to be very honest in that. One, I'm a Christian, and I believe in being honest. Well, the guy didn't ask, would you take X amount of dollars? He just said, are you flexible at all with the price, or are you, kind of stuck, firm? And I said, actually, I'll take this amount because I was actually about to now I hadn't, so I could have just said, well, yeah, I'm firm, and just seen what he did with that. But I said, actually, I was just about to update our posting and lower the price, so I can go to this. He didn't ask me to. He just said, are you firm or are you flexible? And that's another tool that people will give you. I like
that.
Yeah. I mean, and so he got a lower price, but he didn't ask, because he could have asked for $200 off, and I'd gone $500 off.
Yeah.
Been willing to go $500 off. So just by going, hey, are you firm or are you flexible? He opened the door for me to name a price to see if that was in his range. Another tactic that people could utilize, and we can move on after this, are 2 statements that has worked. I think I'm about 100% on it. And it's simply this. It's, and I've heard this on some other podcasts and stuff. I don't know who to credit for it, because I've heard several people talk about it. It's, would it be possible for this?
Right.
And the other is, what are the chances? What are the chances you could lower your price? What are the chances you could give me an upgrade on my hotel room? Would it be possible? I understand if you can't, but I just wanted to ask if it was possible. And what that does, it actually empowers that person to feel like they're the decision maker. And so you're not going, hey, I'd like an upgrade. Can you give me an upgrade? Well, that's a simple, but would it be possible to possibly get an upgrade on my room, or to get an upgrade on my rental car?
No wonder people they move my meeting times and say, Shane, would it be possible to move our meeting? And I'm like, sure.
Yep.
That's pretty nice that they asked.
So I try to do that now when I'm asking for something. What are the chances you could do this? I understand if you can't, but is there a chance that you could do that?
I'm asked that to my wife. It's about smooching and stuff. Would it be possible
What's
to
the chance?
smooch? I was gonna say something. Oh yeah, you should get those $700 Wolverine rims. The ones I showed you. That's $700.
Yeah.
Would it be possible to get them lower?
Especially since they're,
I like 6. Don't take credit for the work you didn't do, bro. Come on, man. I'm thinking about 5 people right now off the bat.
When I read that, I thought of someone who stole credit from you one time.
Oh, man, I think about so many people that stole credit from me. And so.
Yeah, it's just dishonest.
Yep. Totally dishonest, bro. It's like if you didn't do the work, don't take credit. So I know for me, when we have a youth event, when we have something that's really, really great and awesome, I will 100% say my team and give them credit where credit's due. I am big on that. If I hear a statement or hear something that I believe is awesome, I'm going to give credit. But there's a lot of people right now that are just vultures, man. And they will come in, swoop, and try to get credit for every single thing to make themselves look large. So give credit where credit's due. So
we're having technical difficulties. So I was just trying to fix that on the podcast. But yeah, I mean, taking credit is just dishonest. And I mean, if you didn't do the work, and that goes back to the people who may be behind you or, coworkers or whatever. Actually, you should be giving them credit, even where you want to take that credit for yourself. Even if you're the leader, you want to give credit to your team, because you can't do anything by yourself.
Bro, when people always talk about how Shane is this, Shane is that, about things that we do, I always say, I always got to talk about the team and how the team is awesome and brag on them, and because they are the one with the work. I'm just an under rower, man. They make it happen. So
what do you got on number 7? And go ahead and give your thoughts on that one before I do.
Well, 7 says dress well no matter what the occasion. All right, so we got to define what well is. So I think you need to be modest and like dress appropriate for what the occasion is. I think that's first and foremost. I think that you should be. I think people can wear like I'm wearing today. I'm wearing shorts and a hoodie and tennis shoes. The occasion today is a loose day for me. Doing podcast stuff, youth stuff, nothing out in the public eye, and so I dress comfortably. It's nice and neat. My clothes are clean. They fit my body. I'm not sloppy looking, and with a hat on, I look like probably like a coach or something like that. Is what I'm guessing. So I think dress well, no matter what the occasion. I think dress well. I would define well as like based on what you're doing is what I would say. But I understand they're probably thinking dressing up and looking like a certain way. But
yeah, and that's very relative. But yes, I think based on the occasion, dressing appropriately for that. There are some guys who are going to wear a business suit every day, but in their field that would be appropriate.
Yeah.
In the environments that they're in that may be appropriate. So yeah, I think it's just being with what you're wearing, making sure that it is appropriate for what you're doing and the environments that you're in, but also making sure it doesn't look sloppy.
That's right.
You wouldn't want to go to an interview with like let's say a basketball or football jersey on, hat on backwards, slouching when you're interviewing or trying to, if I were meeting with a donor even, that wanted to support some work at the church or even the podcast, that's not how I'm going into that meeting with them. And so, yeah, I think it's just being appropriate with your environment and what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, there's another one too. It is, speak honestly, say what you think, and mean what you say. Bro, all right, so that's big on me, and I think that obviously as Christians, we could be careful with our speech. Ephesians 4:29 talks about that, so only what is to build people up. And I think that I'm going to speak honest. I'm going to use tact. I'm never going to lie. I'm never going to produce smoke or gas somebody up. I'm going to be very, very honest so that when people know that when I'm complimenting them or being nice to them, that they know that I am people. I think people know that I am genuine whenever I speak. So I think that's kind of how I do it. But I think you always should be honest. Yeah, and I say what you mean what you say. Person of your word.
Yeah, and that I try to be good with this, being honest at all times, whether that is favorable to people or not. And I think it means a lot with your integrity that when you say something, and I think we've kind of talked about this before, when if you kind of can't fulfill a promise, then you are honest on the front end and be like, hey, I know, I made this commitment, this has come up, but you make every effort to fulfill it. But then, if you can't, then you go, hey, I need to apologize because this happened, my car broke down, whatever that might be. And so, so you just are honest. Don't just, think things. That's the problem that we have had with people, even in ministry. I know both of us, they'll go and be honest with other people, but they won't be honest with us when they're in front of us. They act like everything's fine. They're cool, but then they'll go behind your back and talk negatively, complain, lie, whatever. And so I'm just big on, I'm actually doing a breakout this coming weekend on how to confront the issues and attitudes that hinder the mission of the church with our Hope Leadership Summit. And so this is part of what I'm talking about. If there's a cancer, you want to deal with the cancer. One of the hopeful things that you hear when someone has cancer is we caught it early. Well, negativity, bitterness, dishonesty, all of that type stuff, unresolved conflict, all of that stuff is a cancer if you don't deal with it. So you have to catch it early. You have to deal with it early. And the only way you can do that is have honest conversations. And that can be hard depending on who you're dealing with, but you have to do it
100%
and deal with the consequences later. So,
dude, I 100% agree. Well, dude, hey, we reached our mark that we're trying to do. I think I would like for us to kind of slow this thing down and wrap this thing up, and then we can continue the conversation. We have 7 more of these that we want to complete, and so we can save that for the next go round if you're good with.
I am, and I do have one thing that I want to point out because you said Valentine's Day is coming, and we are committed to getting producer Carell, Little Ladybug, or Married to Miss Public's Deli. And so I found this gift that he could get for her.
Oh, snap.
It's at Walmart. I took a...
You
said snap, but it says it's close. Snack. This is a cup, and it says looking like a snack. And it is from Reese's. And so we should get this so he can give that to her. He can take it into Publix and be like,
"Hey, give me a refill.
Hey, Ladybug, you looking like a snack.
You like a snickety snack. Kind of a Scooby snack."
We never asked if she was a white lady or a black lady.
He don't care.
She's a black lady. She would fit the Reese's. Like,
yep, he's not even.
Would you be my peanut butter cup?
Say, are you not allergic to peanuts? Are you? They have a peanut allergy. I'm kind of nutty over here.
You can be my chocolatey princess.
Let's go, bro. All right, we're done messing with producer Carell.
Well,
all right.
We hope that we'll have video on this episode.
Yep.
We don't know what's going on. There is a couple of times where I walked in front of the camera while you were talking, so they'll get to see that. But
okay.
Other than that, we're grateful that you tuned in. We would love for you to share this episode as well as the other episodes. Give us a review. That's how we reach more people. On Apple, you can put in a written, review and kind of tell people what you think of the podcast. People read those before they check out a new podcast, so those are very helpful. And other than that, we're grateful that you tuned in with us today.
Yep, get 1% better.
Have a good one. See ya.
Thank you for joining the Male Cartel podcast. Be sure to subscribe and share to help other men join the cartel. You can also keep up with us on social media and at malecartel.com.